Okay, now we're going live. Facebook tricks me out a little bit. It's like live, not live, live. Okay, so anyway, hey guys, thanks for watching. Good morning. Sifu Rob here, Red Sash Renegade, and I had a client ask me to help them build their team a little bit and keep their team moving and motivated. So if you are part of a team, if you're leading a team, either in sales or whatever your organization does, this would be extremely useful to you to watch and check out. Okay, and as you watch, if you have any comments or questions, please throw them in the comment section. Just be aware that it lags a little bit, so I will get to it in a moment. So building a team and building bench strength and then keeping that team together for longer, right? So the one thing that I would say if you're having trouble with bench strength, right? First of all, I mean, everyone has to be anyone who wants to accomplish something needs a strong team. There nothing ever happens without a team. Even though you might see, one person looks like they did it all, none of it could have happened without strong bench strength underneath them, a team that they were leading, right? So developing and cultivating your team is essential if you ever want to get any degree of success. The first thing that I would share is the concept of spotlighting. This is super important for building your team up. And I actually learned this from teaching martial arts, right? So let me give the example of what it looks like in a martial arts class, and then you can quickly see how it will apply to your business, right? Whenever an instructor is teaching a class on the floor, they would try to demonstrate some kind of technique. Now, the instructor is at a much higher level than the student, right? They've been doing it for years and years more. So they would show a technique and they would say, look, do it like this. And a lot of times, if the student perceives it as difficult, instead of trying it, they'll think to themselves, well, yeah, you can do it because you're the instructor, but me at my level, I can't do that. Right? And that's kind of a struggle we always have, and we try to convey that. No, look, that's not it. Get that out of your head, right? We're all people. We might have a little more experience, but we all put our pants on one leg at a time, right? But the student has a hard time differentiating that, so therefore they kind of give up on themselves mentally, before they even try, before they get started. So and same thing will happen in your team, right? When you say, you'll say something as a team leader. If you're frustrated with someone's performance, you'll fall back on, well, look, why can't you do this? I did this when I was in your position, and I did it like this, and this, and this. And a common pushback will be, well, yeah, but that's you, right? And because you're a team leader, they don't see themselves as anywhere near your level, which is unfortunate because it creates a mental barrier for them, and therefore they can't perform at a higher level. So spotlighting is one way to avoid that. So what we do on the floor is, instead of saying, well, look at me, I'm the instructor, I can do this, we'll find a peer that is performing particularly well, right? Now there's always going to be a top, 20% in your class that's just getting 80% of the knowledge, 80% of your lesson. Everything falls into that 80/20, right? And instead of you being the demonstration, look the way I do it, what you want to do is you want to find and spotlight that one person that's doing it particularly well because they're a peer. When we're social animals, when it comes from a peer, you're much more likely to get it and perceive it as doable than if it's coming from the team leader or someone at a higher up. So you've got to catch that peer doing something right and spotlight them and say, everyone, stop what you're doing. Look at so and so. Look at the activity they're putting in. They were having a struggle too, and now they got it. Check that out and give them a round of applause, and then publicly acknowledge. I don't mean publicly, but like within the group, make sure everyone acknowledges that person and gives them a hand. It's going to make that person feel better and they're going to want to keep doing a good job. It's also going to show the other team members that they are fully capable of doing this too, because there's not that differentiation between, team leader up here and the rest of the team down here. Okay, so spotlighting will definitely help with that. So you want to make sure that as a team leader, when you're giving critical feedback, you want to try to do that one-on-one. You want to do that privately with the person that needs that critical feedback. But when it comes to someone's success, you want to make sure everyone knows about that and it's very exciting and everyone celebrates that success together, right? And it lifts the whole team up in spirit. When it comes to this 80/20, though, you have to realize, so you don't want to fall into the trap of only ever congratulating and spotlighting your top 20%, right? Because even the bottom percent that is underperforming, again, so 80/20 principle, think about that. 80% of your results are typically going to come from the top 20% performers in your team. Okay, that's just all the way, always the way it falls. That doesn't mean that you want to disregard the bottom 80%. You still got to train them and you got to keep them moving forward. Okay, because everyone in your organization is potentially useful. Okay, um, you have to realize that 80-20 is not a stagnant set group. So your top 20% bringing in 80% of your results is not always going to be there. People move, right? They move on. They go to different organizations, right? Or something happens to them that's traumatic. They got something going on and they're not going to be performing at their top. So you don't always want to be spotlighting those top 20% because what it will do is it will gradually again make that differentiation where the bottom 80 says, well, yeah, but that's John. He's a mutant. He's just always overperforming, right? You don't want to only be spotlighting that person because you're going to have that same problem all over again, where the person can't identify with who's succeeding. You also need to make sure that you are spotlighting this bottom 80% when they're doing something right. So you have to be, as a team leader, you've always got to be watching to catch someone doing something right so then you can spotlight it. It may not be performing as high as the top 20%, but they're doing something well. You've got to make sure you spotlight that so then you make the person feel good and you keep them encouraged and you keep them motivated because there's a good chance that one day they're going to be lifted up to that top 20%, right? And if you never spotlight them and they don't feel like they're doing anything right, they're going to leave, okay? That 80-20 is not stagnant. There's always going to be people that are in that bottom 80% moving up, and this top 20% is moving on. Okay, that's just the way life works. So if you don't constantly cultivate that bottom 80%, there's no one else to move up to those higher levels. So you've got to spotlight everyone, right? So just keep that in mind. That don't think that's a stagnant position for everyone to be in. Okay, now some people might spend more time in that bottom 80% than you'd like, and some people will move faster. Another good way to keep your team strong is to check out the book Culture Code by Daniel. Oh, hold on. There's two culture codes. I don't want to give you. If you're leading a team, then you've got to run out and you've got to get this book like ASAP. Culture Code. But there's two culture codes. One of my team members got the wrong book by. Yeah, Daniel Coyle is his name. Culture Code by Daniel Coyle, The Secret of Highly Successful Groups. And basically a very brief overview. What I like about that is he gives like kind of three major factors in keeping a strong culture, which essentially is keeping your team, right? Every team's going to have its culture. And one of them is you have to make sure everyone feels safe. Okay, I don't mean safe as you have to bubble wrap everyone. You have high expectations, but people have to know that if they make a mistake, they're not going to get booted pronto because then no one's ever going to take any chances. And if they don't make mistakes, they can't learn. Okay, so they have to have a degree of safety there to know that they're accepted into that group. Okay, and they're a part of that group. The second thing is you got to make sure that their value is. So their input is valuable. People have to know that when they say something, that it's heard. Doesn't mean that you need to go and implement every crazy idea that everyone's going to have on your team, but you definitely want to take it into consideration. A great way to do this is through having a not a brainstorming session, but a mindstorming session. Okay, so if we need to get something done as a team, we need ideas, we need to mindstorm something. So this, I think I picked this up from Brian Tracy, but typically he was teaching it as doing it on your own. You need to do this as a group. So if there's some kind of thing you need to get done, you need to sit down for whatever, 10 minutes, and mindstorming session is where we have to list out 20 ideas on how to accomplish this. And every idea is listed. There's no qualifying ideas. There's no, that's not a good idea. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. It's 10 minutes of solid throw out ideas. And then to get it moving, to get it primed, what you can do if you're the team leader as a joke is just say something totally stupid and write it down a couple times. And then, if people aren't getting it, they're hesitant, say something else stupid and write it down to remind them. No, everything gets recorded. There's no stupid answers. We throw down everything. So that way that hesitation of saying something that might be judged is gone and everyone's trucking out ideas. Okay, and then later on you can go and you can pick the best 5 or the best 3 ideas or whatever, right? And you can laugh about the stupid ideas that were listed up. That's fine. Okay, but everyone has that training and this is the time now to throw those ideas out there, okay? And it's like, I hate to use the word safe space, but it's mindstorming space where there's no qualification, there's no editing, there's only chucking out ideas against the wall with no limitation, okay? So that's one example of how you can have that culture. And then the third thing is there's got to be a strong purpose. Every organization, every team, every culture has to have a strong sense of purpose that they're all moving towards, some kind of vision. Okay, now I would take that a step further to be clear on not only your purpose, but the purpose of the purpose and the purpose of the purpose of the purpose. And then keep drilling down in that purpose as much as you can to give everyone a strong emotional connection to what you're doing. So for example, if you're in a team and you need to get everyone motivated because your sales right now are crappy, okay, and you need to get your sales up. Say for example, you would call a meeting. Okay, and if you ask anyone what's the purpose of this meeting, they might say, well, to get our sales up because our sales all suck. Well, that's kind of the function of the purpose. What we're trying to get at though is we're trying to, distribute more of our product or service, whatever it is. Okay, that's the purpose of the sales meeting. Okay, well, what's the purpose of distributing the product or service? Well, ultimately, it helps people. It helps people by giving them something, giving them a service they couldn't otherwise do on their own, or they couldn't do as fast as you can do on their own, or a product that they don't have that they need that can help them in some way. Okay, what does that product do? Well, it saves them a significant amount of time. Okay, great. So that's the purpose of the product. What's the purpose of that purpose? What's the purpose of cutting down on a significant amount of time? Well, now they have more time to free up to spend with their family, for example. Okay, great. What's the purpose of that? Well, the purpose of that is if they can spend more time with their family, they can grow a stronger bond. They could produce, better relationships, and ultimately give the next generation, more strength, more value, more everything, right? More love. The way to spell love is Time, right? Who did I steal that from? Probably Brian Tracy. Um, Maybe it was Ziegler. I can't remember. But anyway, see, that's the purpose of the purpose of the purpose. So now we have emotional connection to. We want our customer to have more time to spend with their family so they can enjoy life and, you know, chuck the next generation of the future with a lot more hope and a lot more potential. You see, so you've got to make sure you find that purpose, the purpose of the purpose, and make sure that everyone understands that and that they're emotionally connected to it. Okay, so that's all some points for now. I thought that were kind of immediately important. There's a lot more we can get into. If you want help, if you want some direct input building your team, then feel free to click the link above or below and we could book a free strategy session. I could find out how I can tailor what I'm saying specifically to your organization. And also there's some courses in there that I'll throw in as well. So check out that, click the link below. If you have any questions about this, put them in the comment section. Please feel free to share this for any team leaders who you think this might be helpful for. I'd really appreciate that too. And of course, like and follow this page for more Renegade information. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.